Hello, everyone. I'm Karen Sipple. I'm the Managing Director of the African Women Entrepreneurship Cooperative, or AWEC, as we call it for short. Well, thank you to everybody for joining us for this application information session. First, I wanted to share you a couple of quick thoughts. AWEC is truly unique. It is a learning experience. It is a supportive community of women just like you who are going through similar business and growth challenges. It's a chance to connect with a mentor who cares about your development. It's challenging, it's confidence building, and it's fun. We're really excited to read your applications, but first, we're also really happy to answer your questions here. And with me here today are two colleagues and several members of our first cohort to help you to better understand the program, the application process, and what you can expect to gain from this experience. One thing I want to mention to you all is that some of you have already discovered the chat function. Please type your questions into the chat box and we'll get to as many as we can. But now I'm going to turn this over to my colleagues Dawn and Dee Dee to get us started.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I know everybody is in all different time zones. We're really excited to have all of you here to tell you a little bit more about the program and then also to hear more about your questions. So what I'll do is I'll start with a quick overview to give you some background on the program that might preemptively answer some of your questions. As I'm going along, as anything comes up, feel free to type those questions into the chat box and we'll capture those. And then after our brief introduction, we'll move into a question and answer session where we can address some of those. So to start off, what is AWEC? AWEC is the African Women Entrepreneurship Cooperative, open only to women. It's a high-touch 12-month program focusing on leadership and business managed development. What we mean by high touch is that you have a lot of support throughout the program. So unlike traditional online learning programs where you have content that you can access, at AWEC we want to make sure that not only do you have access to the content, but that you have an entire support system that's helping you through that content. We have session leaders who are leading each of the different live sessions each month. We have teaching assistants who are checking in with you on a regular basis to see how you're doing, reviewing assignments, making sure that you're able to meet deadlines. You have mentors who are working with you one-on-one to address your own personal business goals. And then you have the support of the AWEC staff who are helping on the administrative side and also providing feedback on all of your assignments. The blended learning model means that we combine both online and offline experiences. Online, you'll have access to be able to watch some of our content. You'll have access to our platform, which allows you to communicate with various other people on the platform. You'll be able to share assignments. You'll be able to share feedback. But then you'll also have offline experiences. And some of those are also considered digital in terms of group mentoring experiences, where you'll be working with a group of your peers to share best practices. And then we gather in person twice a year for leadership summits at different countries in Africa. And bring everyone together to focus on how we can support each other and to be able to foster and further some of the relationships we've been developing digitally. In terms of the time commitment, participants should expect to spend an average of 4 to 6 hours per week participating in AWEC activities. And you'll hear a little bit more from some of our current cohort members later on this call. That can vary from week to week, and it really has to do with time management. So that's a good question I would suggest you ask some of our participants later, is how they manage to make this work on top of the personal and professional responsibilities they already have. Definitely keep in mind that the program is fast-paced and it requires a firm commitment. So separate from other programs where you might be able to access at will, we really want to make sure that participants in AWEC are fully engaged so they can help build this cooperative. So we're expecting participants to complete at least one activity for AWEC each week. And it's really difficult if you drop off and get behind by a few months. And so we really work with you to support you through that process. You'll receive strategic guidance and feedback on all of the assignments that you complete. And that also, I think, really helps to keep people engaged throughout the program. We want to make sure that as you're thinking about applying, that you make sure that you have the time commitment and the ability to make that commitment over the entire 12-month period. Next slide, Mayor. Thank you. So the core AWEC has 5 different core components. The first happens in the first week of every month, and we have a very consistent schedule, so it helps you to be able to plan around what you're doing. We do a live learning session called a live session. They're conducted using Zoom, so in the same format that we're using right now. We thought that it would be helpful for everyone to get a feel for what that was before the program began, which is why we're doing this information session using Zoom. It's a 75-minute session, and it starts with a presentation from a professor or a practitioner in the business world. And then it ends with a pretty significant question and answer session, usually around 45 minutes, where members of the cohort have the opportunity to ask personal questions about how this topic relates to their own business. During the second week, all participants submit an individual assignment that's focused on the application of their learning. So you'll participate in the live session, and then you'll have an assignment that you then need to apply to your own business. We really work to make sure that assignments are related to what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. So you're not completing an assignment for the sake of completing the assignment, but rather you're doing an assignment to make sure that you're able to take what you've learned and put it into practice right away. And we've had positive feedback from participants so far, and I think I encourage you to ask participants questions about how they've used some of their assignments to be able to further their business during their time in AWEC. During week 3, you participate in a 60-minute peer session, and this is getting together with a group of fellow cohort members digitally, similarly through Zoom in a video chat format, and having a discussion around best practices that relate to whatever we're talking about that month. So if we're talking about managing your financials, it will be a discussion around the best practices of managing financials, so that you're not only learning from people in the field, but you're learning from other entrepreneurs who are at similar places to you, or who are, a few years further along where you would like to be able to see what they've done that works that you can apply to your own business. And in the final week, we focus on peer reviews, where you give feedback to your peers about their assignments, and you receive feedback from your peers about your assignment. And this allows us to really build a culture among the group of support. So it's not a competitive culture, but rather it's everyone working together to help each other's businesses flourish. In addition to that, the 2 other components that happen throughout the program are the opportunity to work individually with a mentor. Each person who's a member of the cohort will be paired with a business mentor who has expertise either in their industry or their functional area that they're focused on growing in. And you'll meet with your mentor quarterly, and you'll work on your own personal specific business growth goals. And then you'll also be placed on a team, and the teams are 5 people in the cohort, and teams will work on a team project each quarter. And this gives you a chance to build your leadership skills, and it also gives you a chance to get even more thoughtful personal feedback from a smaller group of participants who really get to know your business well and are able to follow your growth throughout the time in the program. For our curriculum, it's a 12-month curriculum, and we begin in April and we end in March. So the next session will begin in April of 2019. The curriculum is designed to be relevant and immediately applicable to your business, regardless of whether or not you've been in business for 20 years or you're just starting out with your business idea. The idea is that you can take what you're learning in our live sessions and apply it to what you're doing. And we found that this has been helpful to people who, again, are completely new to the business world, and also to people who have gone to business school but have not necessarily thought about these concepts as it relates to their own business idea. We really work to make sure that each topic focuses on something that you can apply to your business right away. And we make sure that we take feedback from all of you after each session so that we can modify as we go and make sure that the current curriculum is relevant to the current cohort. Collectively, all of these topics provide a comprehensive overview about what it takes to grow your business. And so the idea is from April through March, you're adding on to your knowledge one step at a time. And by the end of the program, you should have a full understanding of all of the different things that you need to know to be able to take your business to the next level. Program benefits. So for those who successfully complete the 12-month program, you'll have a lot of different opportunities. One, you'll have the chance to form connections with a diverse group of entrepreneurs throughout the continent. This is a really amazing opportunity to get support. It can be very lonely being an entrepreneur, and one of the motivations behind building this program was to really create a network of women who have the opportunity to learn from and support each other. You'll have the opportunity to establish a relationship with at least one senior business mentor, somebody who is in your court trying to help you grow your business and working with you directly on the things that are important to you and your business. You'll strengthen your strategy, leadership, and business management skills through a combination of the live sessions and the practical assignments. You'll be able to apply your learning to your business, focusing on growth. So each session, again, building on each other, and a lot of feedback from all different aspects of the program to be able to take your business to the next level. You'll gain those skills that you need to grow your enterprise, and you'll develop a toolkit of soft skills, including self-confidence, resilience, collaboration, and cross-cultural communications, simply through the interactions that you'll have on a regular business with participants who are from all different countries, all different industries, all different levels of experience, working together to improve your businesses. With that, I will turn it over to my colleague, Dee Dee.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so we're speaking on who should apply. Currently, AWEC embraces diversity and inclusivity. What this means is that we have women who were born in and do business in African countries. Members of the diaspora are also welcome to apply, but their businesses or NGOs must have impact on the Nigerian content. Currently, we have women from several African countries in diaspora, but what we want is that whatever your business is, it has an impact on the growth and on the continent. We accept a cohort of 200 participants on every program, and currently we're looking for established entrepreneurs who demonstrate business clarity or aspiring entrepreneurs with clear business concepts that are committed to developing and implementing over the course of our 12-month program. When reviewing your application, we aspire to build a cohort that is geographically diverse, represents a wide variety of industries, and includes participants with a range of business experience, from aspiring entrepreneurs to seasoned business owners. We encourage you to spend time preparing your application, clearly describing your business or business concept, and providing thoughtful responses to each question to help the review team get a full picture of you, your business, and your growth objectives. Those interested in advancing their business and management skills, as well as growing their companies and their learning capabilities, are very much welcome to the AWEC program. Self-starters who demonstrate passion, resilience, leadership, collaboration, and empathy. We already have so many women who show these qualities, and we would like to have more in our cohorts. Successful participants help to build our community by contributing their knowledge and experience, learning from others, and using what they learn to continue building their businesses and supporting the growth of fellow cohort members' businesses. AWEC is big on connectivity. We're big on building a network where we encourage every woman to help each other woman to build their business. Proficiency in English, which is the official language of the program, is very key. AWEC is open to women entrepreneurs working in any industry. We do ask that you're proficient in English because that's the major language of the program, and it would help connectivity when communicating with other ladies from different parts of the world. Applications are due by 11:59 UTC on Tuesday, the 18th of December. It is very helpful for you to use a time converter to get the timing correctly, because we will not accept late applications for any reasons. So please be sure to submit your applications early so as not to run into any last-minute technical issues. We will, however, notify participants of the results of the application in early March. An online orientation for cohort 2 begins on Monday, 18th March. The application was opened on the 5th of December, and it will close on the 18th of December. By early March, application results notification will be distributed. By 18th of March as well, online orientation would begin. By the 27th of March, an AWEC welcome session will go live, which is an online video conference to welcome our new participants. By the 3rd of April, the first AWEC live session, which my colleague Dawn has spoken about, will take place. Between April 2019 to March 2020, we will have the core AWEC programming. By September 2019, we will have the first leadership summit. By March 2020, we will have the second leadership summit. 31st March 2020, cohort 2 program would conclude. And by April, certifications will be disbursed. Now, I would like to introduce you to a few members of our current AWEC community who are here to share their experiences with AWEC and answer your questions.
Great. And why don't we start with our participants? So let's have Fadmi kick it off for us. Fadmi, if you want to come off mute and introduce yourself just briefly to everybody before we get started. All right, let's go with Victorine first, and then we'll come back to Familola.
Hello.
Oh, there we go. Familola, can you
Hello.
hear me? Yes, great. We can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you. Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Fumila. I'm from Nigeria. I'm a cohort 1 member. Opportunities World is a social enterprise which I created in 2016. And applying to AWEC in last year was a privilege for me to meet more women who are doing greater things in Nigeria and Africa as a whole. Especially applying to AWEC was a go-getter revenue and part for me because I was able to meet many women from Nigeria and in South Africa, in Kenya, and some other countries. So having met a lot of people, I already have the goal to meet a lot of people. So I decided to apply for AWEC because I know with AWEC, I will have people to collaborate with, people I can network with, people I can rely on. So applying to AWEC was a way for me to change my business idea, was for me to move my business idea from here to there. So I already have a perception of what I want from AWEC because I already done a lot of research on the speakers, on what the program is all about. So applying to AWEC was me trying to get more idea, more ways I can get my business from just being an idea to something people can invest on, something somebody wants to partner with me, both local and internationally. So that was why I applied for AWEC. And it has been a very good journey, a wonderful one. I've been able to meet Karen and the other people, Mr. Kola Akintola and the rest. So AWEC is a wonderful program. And it's a program every woman in Africa should always want to apply for. We want to make a way. Thank you.
Thanks, Familola. Victorine, do we have you? Can you hear me? Okay, we can try again. Mary, do we have you?
Yes, you do.
Great.
All right. Okay, good to see you.
Quick introduction.
All right, sure. My name is Mary Kio. I am from Kenya. I run a business called Roshani CS, and it mainly deals with conducting media engagement trainings as well as having and providing communication management services. I have been in this industry for the last 4 years, and the reason why I joined AWEC is because when I started off, I just jumped into starting off the business, but I didn't know how to run a business. It's only halfway through running the business that I realized that I didn't have any business skills. I had the skills to run my company in terms of my work, but didn't know how to run a business. So when I saw the AWEC opportunity rise up, through the social media platforms, I was like, I need this because it's going to educate me much as possible. So I'm looking forward to sharing as much with you on what you need to learn about AWEC because it has really changed a lot of how I run my business, and I'm looking forward to changing much of it.
Great, thank you, Mary. And then I think we are getting Victorine back online, and we will give her a quick moment to introduce herself. There we go. Victorine, can you hear us now?
Yes.
Great. We're so glad to have you. Can you do a quick introduction?
Yes, before my connection went up again. Sorry. Hi everyone, I'm Victorine Sarr. I'm from Senegal originally, but I live in Accra now. I have a beauty company that I started 3 years ago. It's basically organic clip line. We have lip stain, lipsticks, lip glosses. We also do now eyeshadows and eyeliners. And these are all for women of color. And right now we are available in 6 countries. And we ship worldwide as well. Apply for our network that I was going to gain. Let's be honest, so the best it is. And I can easily say that today I'm actually working with a lady that I met through AWEC. She's from Kenya, and she runs a e-commerce platform in Nairobi, and we are actually partnering up to do a launch in Kenya, and that will be our first launch in East Africa, basically. So it's a huge change. It's a practical and concrete change that I can see. I'm seeing every day in my business, and I encourage everyone to really take this seriously, to apply and take this opportunity to really take your business to the next level. So yes, I'm available if you have any more questions. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Victory. And thank you to all of our current cohort members who are here. I know we have some who are also in the webinar as attendees, so thank you for joining. I'm turning it over now to my colleague, Karen, who will lead our question and answer session. And as far as process, if you have any questions, please type them into the chat. We'll collect those, and then Karen will share those out, and various members of our group will respond and answer all of your questions.
Great. Thanks, everybody. So I've seen a couple of questions come in over the chat live here. And then we also got a few questions in advance. So I'm going to start out there. I'm going to call on my colleagues and the participants. I'm going to call on each of you, sometimes direct questions to specific people. But let me start out with this one. I'm actually going to ask all 3 of our participants to take this one, but Mary, why don't you go first, just to give you a little bit of a second to think about this. My question, the question that we got that we wanted to share with you all is there anything that has surprised you about your AWEC experience? Mary, do you want to take this one first? Mary, you're on mute. If you can take yourself off mute.
Yes, I would like to take that one. There's so much, I can't just pinpoint it to one, but I'll try and think of just one, is that the live sessions was beyond my understanding. You know, the various experts that we've been able to meet with in the business industry across the world who are able to come on board and share experiences with us, the challenges they faced and the successes. Just looking at people who are really high up in the business industry and knowing that they walked my path and made it was one of the greatest surprises that I had. I knew there were going to be live sessions, but I didn't know that we were going to meet with the who's who in the business world across the world. So that was one of the few I can remember for now. If you give me time, I'll talk about 15, but I'll stop for now.
All right, thank you. Victorine, how about you? What has surprised you?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I would say the group projects, these were like a revelation for me, quite frankly. I did not know that I was going to gain so much out of it, especially online. When you try to work with people online, it's quite difficult to get something done. But this was a good surprise, because the feedback that you get from the participant in the group, 4 or 5 people, is actually giving you fresh ideas, out of the box ideas that you might not see when you are in the day-to-day operation of your business. So it really has given me some new ideas that we are actually going to put in place from next year.
That's great, thank you. And Fumilola, now the trick is that since you went last, you can't say live session and you can't say team project, but what else has surprised you about this experience?
Okay, thank you very much. I think it's the network I've been able to make because I was not expecting to be among thousands of hundreds, over 200 women. I'm not expecting to be among them. And I remember when we went to Kigali earlier this year, I was overwhelmed because I met people I can call my friends now, people I can rely on. I was able to build a network beyond my country. So it was really surprising because I was not expecting it. So AWEC has really given us the chance to know people beyond our country. It's been overwhelming because even in Nigeria, we have a WhatsApp group. All of us chat and we talk and we relate like family. So AWEC I was not expecting it, but it was overwhelming and it was surprising. So AWEC, I think the collaboration and the networking, I was not expecting it. And it has been something that has added value to each and every one of us. Thank you.
Great, thanks you to all three of you. I'm going to take a different tact with this actually, and I'm going to call this rapid fire "Am I eligible?" questions to my colleagues, to Dawn and to Dee Dee. I've seen a number of these questions come up here in the chat, but then also in advance. So just give us a yes or a no, and if you need to elaborate, do that. But I'm just going to fire these out at you guys. So, am I eligible? I run an NGO or a nonprofit.
Yes, you are eligible.
You are
still considered a business.
Exactly. In our parlance, still a business. I'm a sole founder of my business and I have no employees.
Yes, you are eligible. AWEC would empower you to grow your business and bring employees on board.
Great. I've just completed my undergraduate degree. I'm finding my bearings. I have a business idea that I'm hoping to start working on, but I don't have a business formed yet. Am I eligible?
It's okay if you don't have a business formed, but you need to have a really clear business concept. So if you're coming in and you're saying, I want to be an entrepreneur, but I don't know what I want to do, this might not be the right time to apply to AWEC. I would wait for a little bit longer. Really make sure that you have a clear concept that you're passionate about and then apply. But if you've just graduated, you know exactly what you want to do with your business and you just need help getting it started, AWEC is the right place for that.
Okay. I have a job and I receive a salary from this other job, but I'm also an entrepreneur. Am I eligible?
Yes, you are eligible. But what we ask of you is time commitment. So if you have a 9 to 5, are you able to commit to the time? Are you able to commit to the workload? Are you available? So having a job is one thing, but the time commitment, which is what we ask and which we require, is a big factor.
Great. Okay. I have a business, but it's not profitable, or I don't know if it's profitable.
That is okay. The application asks that question. We want you to make your best guess. And then the benefit is that if you are accepted into AWEC, you'll have the opportunity to learn more about the financial piece to understand what profitability is. And then ideally, you'll have the opportunity to try to grow your business to make it become profitable.
Great. Okay. I have one more that I saw come in. Okay. I am African, but my business is based in Europe. Am I eligible?
So this is a little bit more complicated. To be eligible, your business needs to have an impact on the continent. So it's okay if you run your business somewhere else, but it has to impact the continent of Africa somehow. And you have to be either from Africa or living in Africa. And if you have specific questions about that, that you feel like this question didn't answer, you can email us at our email address that's on the page where you apply. It's awec@thecge.com, and that we can help you answer those questions, or the cge.net, and we can put that in the chat, and we can answer those specific questions offline.
Great. And I saw one come in here, a really similar one. Endalina posted a question here. Endalina, I think we answered your question already, but perhaps you joined us a little bit late. If you are a student, I think Dawn answered this question a few minutes ago. It is okay if you're a student, but we do ask that your business idea be pretty well conceived. You're really going to get full benefit from this program if you have a really firm idea in your mind of what you're seeking to create, whether it's a for-profit or a nonprofit business. Okay, I'm seeing questions come in fast and furious here. To buy myself a little time to organize some of these questions, I'm going to take one that we got submitted in advance, and actually one that I saw pop up here. So this is another question for the staff. What characteristics are you looking for in a successful applicant?
I would say a self-motivator, a go-getter. You, first of all, need to be able to clarify what your business is about. So we need to be able to know what you do. How does it impact your immediate society? What are the values you share? What are the benefits of your business? You need to be time committed. To be honest, it will get overwhelming. And so you need to be ready for that. So which means you need to have that spirit of, I can do it and I will do it and I have done it. I would let Dawn give us some other insights.
I think that was great, Judy. The one thing I would add is that you have to really want to be part of a collaborative, cooperative effort. So in addition to learning for your own business, you need to want to be able to support others' growth as well, because being part of AWEC is not just coming in and learning from the content and going and doing your own thing. It's about giving feedback to others, sharing ideas with others. So you want to be part of a supportive community.
Great. Okay, one of the questions that I saw come up here, I'm going to paraphrase this a little bit. How would you describe your whole experience? This is for the participants. How would you describe your whole experience with AWEC? And maybe what I'm going to add here is, if you could pick one word to describe, maybe two words if you have to describe your experience, what would it be? Just to kind of help us hone in on it. And then, has this experience helped you in growing or scaling your business? So why don't I start with Victorine with that one?
Why? It's hard. So one word, I don't have the word in my mind, on top of my mind right now, but I can say that it definitely helped me scale up my business, because when we started, we just turned profitable, and now I can say that we are in the scale side of, the scale up side of the stage of the business. And one of the reasons is because our new networking helping us right now. We have new people in East Africa helping us launch. When before, we wanted to launch there, but we did not have like a key person, one person to help us do that. And today we do. So it's already helping us to get more.
Great. Okay. Mary, do you have anything to add to that one?
Yes, I do. The one word I would have is wow. And then what I would say after that is, how's AWEC helped me grow is that now that I have an idea, when I started off, we started off with biz planning. I'd never had a business plan before in my life. So just having this business plan and starting to have ideas on how I should streamline my business helped me grow from being a one-person shop. And I've been able to incorporate somebody with me on a consultancy basis, but who bought into my idea because she knew where I am planning to go. And to add on it, because of the financial training that we went through, I was able to start off with financial system. I got just a financial system in place and managed to get a part-time financial accountant to look at my books, something that had not happened in the past. And I'm just excited to be having two people who actually believe in my sustainability plan.
Great. Fumiola, do you want to add anything to this?
Yes, please. Thank you very much. Let me see, what can I give AWEC? I think I'll give it an awesome. And before AWEC, I only have 50 followers on Facebook, and most of my patronage has not been that much. But on getting, on being an AWEC participant, it has moved from just being someone that people know in my country to somewhere, internationally people recognize me now. So being an AWEC participant has really moved me from just being a local champion, we call it local champion, to an international champion. So it has really been awesome. the feedbacks from the mentors, from my TAs has really helped me to achieve my business. It has really helped me to turn my forum to something I need to work on. I now have a new website I created all because of AWEC. AWEC gave me the platform to build a new website, a website people can relate with. Because before, I don't even have an idea. I was like, okay, let me just do this. But now I think of my customers before I do anything. So it has been awesome. It has been great. It has been great. I can't even describe it, but it has been awesome. Yeah, thank you.
Great, thanks everybody. So a question for the staff that I see here. This woman asks, is there anything, so assuming that once somebody is accepted to the program, is there anything that I need to learn before the program officially starts?
That's a good question. We don't have anything specific that we say you need to learn. I think that what we do is when we open our platform for orientation, we encourage you to kind of take a look at everything on the platform, to take a look at, the different participants, to take a look at the curriculum, but we provide everything that you need before each live session. So each month we share some pre-reading that will give you some context to be prepared for the live session. And then we deliver content in the live session that will help you complete the assignment. So there's no pre-work that you have to do. Everybody comes in at very different levels, and the goal is with the live sessions will meet everyone at the level that they're at to help them with the program.
Great, thanks. So a question that we saw earlier, this is for participants, what do you wish you had known when you were applying last year? Okay, so think back about a year ago, little less than a year ago. And I see Mary really smiling here, so I feel like something's come to mind here. So I'm gonna let you kick this off, Mary. What do you wish you had known when you were applying last year?
That it was going to be a lot of hard work, but the work has been worth it. I think initially, most of the times we know that when you join a program, especially when you're so many of you, you might hide in the back and no one will realize that you're not doing your end of the work. But here, everybody is here to support you. The AWEC staff is there. I mean, the teaching assistants, the mentors, everybody is there to walk with you through the process. So even if it has been a lot of hard work, it has been worth it because it's hard work to my business. And not only my business, I'm able to support somebody else and see them take up my idea and run with it. And it also helps the idea. So in that way, we have grown together. But the one thing was there lots of hard work.
I think that's right. There's no hiding in the back of the class in this program. Absolutely. Victorine, is there anything you want to add to this one?
I think Mary summed it well, but I would say something specific. The time I wish I knew that it was going to be time consuming, because it's true that like Mary said, you think that you can hide and not do much, but you also have the information beforehand that it's going to take maybe 4 to 6 hours a week. But sometimes it takes more than that, quite frankly, and you need to manage and find ways to get around and make it happen. So I wish I knew that, but it's either way, it has benefited me, and I'm sure it will do the same for the new applicants as well.
So that leads me to a really good next question, which is how much time do you find that you spend on this program each week? And how to talk to us about how you manage that time. How do you fit AWEC into everything else that's in your life? Fumilolo, let's give you the first shot at this question.
Sure. Okay. Thank you very much. I can say, okay, AWEC program, I thought I'm going to just spend like 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours in a week, but I realized I spent more hours talking, posting something on AWEC, trying to interact with one of my participants. It has been awesome. I don't even time myself now because I'm always, when I'm on Novo Head, always this, I really want do something. I want to interact with somebody. I want to tell somebody about my idea. It has been time consuming, but from that time consuming. So, my times have been rewarded. So it has been cool.
Great. Fumila, you faded in and out a little bit there, but I think what I heard from you is that it's been more time than you anticipated, but it feels like you now have this desire to be, and you mentioned being on NovoEd. NovoEd, for those of you who are new to us, that is our online learning platform. It's where we post materials, where you turn in your assignments, where you can chat with your fellow participants through discussion boards and your peer groups. So I think what she was saying was that she finds herself wanting to be on that platform and talking and connecting with her colleagues. So I think that's what I heard correctly. Victorine or Mary, do either of you want to add something to how do you manage to fit this program into all the other priorities in your life?
I think what helped me was the anticipation. So we would get some messages before we had a live session, or some assignment are due, or something that is planned. So whenever I get the message, it reminds me that I have this assignment due next Sunday, so I can plan ahead of that and try to find ways to make it happen. That's what personally helped me manage the time consuming thing.
That's great. And I think what she's alluding to, everybody, is we do make a good effort to make sure that everybody knows the calendar in advance. It's a monthly calendar that's the same every month. So you can plan ahead and anticipate when there are going to be things that are due or times that you need to collaborate with your teammates. So you do have that ability to look ahead. And she mentioned emails. We do also try to remind everyone in the cohort when there are deadlines coming up, when there's a live session coming up, even in a couple of hours. We know things get busy, and we want to just make sure that we remind people and kind of jog their memory that they've got this on their calendar. Mary, is there anything else that you want to add to this?
The only thing I would add is also personal time management. Beyond that and that is, for instance, I know when, because I already know when the assignments are needed, or when we're supposed to be having our mentor sessions, and when I should have read my work. What I have learned to do is give myself a couple of days before the actual deadline, so that I can be able to read and synthesize the information and start applying it if possible, or if not, start thinking of questions I might want to ask my mentor later on some of the challenges that I experience. So I've learned how to also pace myself because of knowing the days that are coming. So usually 2 to 3 days beforehand, I make sure that my assignment is in, if possible. If not, latest 3 hours before the deadline, although that was in the beginning, but now I'm starting to do my assignments much more earlier because I'm conscious about my requirements, but more so because of the impact it's having on my company. I'm realizing that it's important if I plug myself into it and it becomes part of me, rather than looking at it as an assignment.
Great. Okay, I have a couple of questions I want to get to that are more directed to the staff. So I saw one question I'll just answer here. I saw one question here asking about someone who's specifically asking about a particular business industry that she works in. So we are what we call industry agnostic here at AWEC, and so we welcome a wide range of industries, of business sectors. So for instance, the person who asked here runs a financial consulting company. Absolutely, from an industry perspective, you are eligible, because we don't discriminate against any industries. We find that having a wide variety of industries and experience levels really just adds to kind of the tapestry, the really kind of diverse tapestry of the cohort. So. But a couple questions for my colleagues. One person had asked, at the end of this 12-month program, is there a certificate? Is there some sort of documentation of successfully completing the program?
Yes, if you complete 75% of the program requirements, then you will receive a certificate of completion.
Great. And then another question here was a great one, I thought, of what happens after the program ends? This person is already thinking over a year in the future. What happens after the program ends? Is there some kind of follow-up with participants to check on their progress? What happens?
That is also a good question. We are in the process of building out an alumni program to give participants who have completed the program the opportunity to stay engaged with both each other and with AWEC. So the details of that are not released yet. We'll be sharing those soon, but there will be the opportunity to stay involved and engaged, to continue your learning and to still be considered part of the AWEC community.
Right. And another question that I saw was, is there a minimum amount of revenue that my business should be making before I apply?
I would say no, and I think Karen had answered the question, or sorry, Dawn had answered the question earlier. It was asked in the application because we need you to be clear on your business, but it doesn't necessarily determine if you get into the program or not.
Yep, that's right. It helps us to kind of gain some general insights around the final makeup of the cohort. But whether your business is profitable and how much revenue you are or are not taking in at the moment has no bearing on whether you actually gain an invitation to join AWEC. All right. I want to we might actually close out with this question, depending on how detailed everyone's answers are. But I wanted to toss this question to all three of our participants. And it is, what lesson or what lessons have you learned from this experience so far? And understanding your experience isn't over. You all still have a few more months left with us as members of the cohort. Before you move on to the alumni stage, what lesson or lessons would you like to pass on to members of the next cohort? Since I can't see some of you, I saw Fumilola come off mute, so I'm going to let Fumilola take this first.
Yes, the lesson I'll give is don't be limited. Don't limit yourself. Once you're given an opportunity on this program, just take it. And always try to collaborate with your fellow participants, be friends with them. Challenge yourself and challenge others. I remember when we were given the second project for my group, most people didn't take it up. But I did I took the role of a leader. I brought everybody together and we were able to submit the assignment. So even if you're not good at one course or the other, just try to ask from your fellow participants, how can I do this? Do a lot of research. Go a step further to make best of what the resources given to you. Try to be the best. Don't be, the application, the program is not a competition. So always try to share your ideas with others. Most people are not in your field, but always try to help them in one way or the other. Be fearless. And as we used to say, be great. Try to do the best you can. And I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Fumilola. Let's see, Victorine, why don't you go next? I think we might have lost her. So Mary, let's have you answer this question next.
The lesson that I have learned is that be open to share your idea, no matter how crazy or no matter how it is. Even if you think it's small or whether you think it's too big beyond you, just share the idea. But as you share your idea, be ready for constructive feedback and restructure where possible. But just don't stop at restructuring your idea. Go ahead and try out your idea. The worst that can happen is that people will not receive it as everybody else might have advised you to. But the main thing is you'd have tried it, because that's the only way you're going to keep growing your business. And all that you will get at AWEC in terms of giving you the support to venture out with your idea.
Great, and I think we have Victorine back. Victorine, do you want to take the last word on this final question, which was what lesson would you like to pass on to members of the next cohort?
Sorry to disappear like that. So I would say take this seriously, take it as a new opportunity, a new way to grow your business depending on the stage you find yourself in. Doesn't matter. The only thing is to actually grow and make it a good experience, in a sense that you will learn either way. You will learn from people, you will learn from the learning, you will learn from the sessions, the interactions you have with the mentors, and also the people doing the live sessions. Also the crowd that you'll be into, because this is a great market. Also, you have more than 200 women in the continent as well that can either inspire you or even help you grow your business as well. So that's what I would.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. All right. So I'm going to close this out here. Meredith, can you go to the next slide?
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. We wanted to kind of close here and just give you a little bit of background information about our parent organization, which is the Center for Global Enterprise. All this information is also found on our website. Hopefully you've had a chance to look at our site. I do encourage you to look at that website. We posted into the chat. It is www.thecge.net/AWEC. That site's going to give you a lot of the information that we talked about here, a lot of basic information about the program. It may help you to kind of answer some initial questions as you look at the application, as you think about whether this is the right program for you, and we hope it is. But I want to thank everybody for joining us today, my colleagues, our participants, and potentially our future participants. Thank you for spending some time with us, getting your questions answered. I hope this information was helpful, and that we've been able to help you to understand what to expect and why this will be an amazing year of your life. We encourage you to apply before the December 18th deadline, and we're really looking forward to reading your applications and getting to know you and your businesses. Thanks again.